Hi Everyoshi, I'm Trinket. It's been a while. Welcome to the 5th episode of our Survival Minecraft series. I've been recording for this YouTube video over many months, but I haven't had the time to edit it together. What this means is I've gotten a lot of fun things done that I can't wait for you to see. But this edit has to pull together content spanning several months. So you'll have to forgive me when we jump back in time right now to show you what we've been doing from when I last saw you to the present day. What you're seeing now is footage of me exploring a trial chamber here in my world for the first time. This is actually my first ever trial chamber experience, so I was excited to make it happen. Although I did need the copper and some shards for our project today. Additionally, I wanted to be doing something special in the world when the day counter flipped to 1,000. Here's some footage of Trinket from the past to explain. So, as you can see up in the top left, it is day 999. I just slept, it's day 999 in this world. And I thought it would be fun to record, do something as the day switches over to day 1000. I thought that'd be kind of cool. So this episode, we're going to be finishing all of the storage containers, like the storage mechanisms in our big storage room down below. So we're gonna need a lot of copper for copper bulbs. And just in general, we use a lot of copper in the build, like as like a green block. I'd like to go out to a trial chamber and just mine all of their copper floors up. So I make a ton of bulbs and they're all already aged and everything. So I did manage to find a chamber without any spider spawners. I'm crazy arachnophobic, so I didn't want to run into any of those things. Luckily, there was one not far from our base out in the savannah. I entered in one of those staircase rooms that was just covered in strays, which was a bit tricky to navigate. Luckily, I brought plenty of shulker boxes to alleviate some of the horrible inventory issues we would be experiencing throughout the exploration. As you'll see here in the footage, I'm covering some of the spawners in endstone, as that's a material I have plenty of, which is difficult to break, to mark each of the spawners so I know where they are. I'll definitely be coming back here in the future for more copper, and this is a potential location for a future breeze farm, so I want to make sure I can walk around without being swarmed. So in less than 2 minutes, it's gonna become day 1000 here in the world. That was full of iron, okay. Maybe I should be breaking these with, like, my weapons so I can get those shards and, like, actually see them and the bricks and stuff. I'm gonna do that. It's also so much more satisfying, right? Like, come on. And the candles are amazing. Definitely gonna grab I don't have candles in my world at all yet, chat. This is amazing to me. Oh, it's about to become day 1000. Ready? And... yeah! Woohoo! Yay! Yippee! I forgot to move my character. I was celebrating. There we go. Stay 1000. That's kind of cool. I continued into the chamber, filling shulkers with a bunch of junk, and scouting ahead for future copper deposits and spawners. In one room, I fought my very first breeze. I love trial chambers. I could talk about them all day. I think they are one of the coolest additions to this game. I don't know. I'm addicted, frankly. Man, give me a break. The breeze is a lot of movement. Okay, come on. No. Okay, yay. No. I actually might die. Dude, leave me alone. How much health do breezes have? This guy is actually... okay, come on. Be for real. Ah! Okay. Is that it? Yes! Okay. I'm a pincushion. Okay. Oh, there was only 2 breezes. That makes sense, because they're bullet sponges. I did not realize breezes were like that. The next room over had plenty of husks and strays, which took a while to clear out in their own unique ways. Whoa, there's water on the floor in here? I've never seen this in a thing before. Hold on, let me kill these candles first. There's water on the floor in here. This looks awesome. Oh. Whoa! Loot. That's cool. What a cool little water area. I love this. If that's not in the trial chamber I plan on making a base in later near the Guardian farm, I might like rebuild that in it because it's so sick. Or like something inspired by that. I love that little water area. There is a ton of spawners. Again, none of them are spider spawners, right? No. A lot of husks. There's a guster. That's gonna be fun. I don't know what guster is from, but I keep saying the word guster even though they're called breezes. I don't know what a guster is. I don't know what they are. I just want to make that clear. I'm sure guster is like a mob from some game, but I'm not trying to invoke the guster. I'm just calling them gusters. I don't know why. Don't make fun of me. Am I gonna die these guys? Why didn't I eat? Why didn't I eat? Why? What? Why didn't it eat? Does it take longer to eat if you're hungry? Is that true? I've never heard of that. Oh my god, the gear in these is to get you gear on your way back. That is actually so smart. I think I just failed. I think I probably just stopped eating too early. Is one husk gonna be wearing all my Yahoo! He's holding a key. That's so cool. Okay. There is not one husk wearing all of my I'm glad. This sharpness 5 iron axe really did its work. Really put in the hours. That was cool. That was a good axe. Okay. This floor layout in particular was really annoying for me, actually. There's a lot of holes for everything to fall in, and a lot of the spawners ended up activating at once. After that one was the last room in the chamber, its identical copy, which also took some time. On the fortunate side, these rooms in particular have tons of copper blocks in the floor. With all of it cleared out, it was time to open the vaults. Oh, banner pattern. Guster? Oh my god, that's why I've been calling them Gusters, because of the Guster banner pattern. That's why I've been calling them Gusters. And I was making banners recently, trying to find some good banners. This must have wormed its way into my head. Gusters. Okay, that's why I was calling them Gusters. Mystery solved. I did end up finding one room left uncleared, which only featured 2 silverfish spawners. The only 2 spawners in here are 2 silverfish spawners, which is gross, but I'm not gonna die. Actually, silverfish themselves are not what grosses me out about silverfish. Yay! The thing that grosses me out is the fact that they can enter blocks. Okay, these are not silverfish blocks, which is good. Like, I don't know. The fact that they can enter blocks means blocks are, like, tainted. I don't know. It freaks me out. The vibes are off about silverfish blocks. So, like, the little bug itself, I don't really care about, but, like, the fact that they can enter blocks is gross. So the fact that they put enterable blocks next to the silverfish spawners is, like, they were targeting me personally with that one. Whoa! I forgot that there was a music disc. I didn't realize that. That's pretty cool. Unfortunately, I did not get a single blue key from any of the orange vaults or chests in the entire trial chamber. I did spend plenty of time afterwards clearing out one of the 2 large rooms full of copper blocks though, which was the chamber's true prize. So hello everyone. I went through and I took the time to mine out a whole big room out of that trial chamber. It was pretty fun. I like being able to dismantle this big structure. By doing so, I was able to get a bunch of copper, like this. I've already used up some of it on these bulbs that we're going to be using in our build today. I have a lot of materials here. The quartz took a long time to collect, and all these chests are from the bamboo farm we made last episode. What we'll be building is this big storage unit that I'm going to be putting in this thing here. You can see I've started on a little bit. Other than that, I have been working on the little pieces of this build, the corners here. what this is actually going to end up being is our bulk storage. I have half of it built so far. I thought it'd be cute to like make like an egg over here, kind of like what's on, I actually copied it from on top of this, like block for block, but I put it down here instead. And I kind of changed the colors to be like ceramic, which I thought was pretty cute. So that's the end of this tunnel. This here is our bulk storage. It's not hooked up yet, and we don't have any shulker boxes back there even. So today we're going to be hooking this up. We're also going to be building another 8 bulk storage units over here and finishing this up today. You can see I've decided what we're going to store in bulk. I think I'm only going to store 14 items in bulk right now, or maybe 12. And then build a couple extra bulk storage units for items that come out in the future. So we'll be storing some stuff over there too, but the ones I have built out right now are for stone, deep slate, this is cobbled deep slate, dirt, and then the 3 other types of stone. And then we'll be having a lot of terracotta here because we're in a mesa, of course, and it's just nice to have a lot of this on hand. And tuff is a really, really nice building block, like the tuff bricks. I find myself grabbing for those as a building material a lot. So I figured it might be nice to store a ton of tuff over here, and maybe go on some tuff mining expeditions to fill this up. Same with like andesite and granite and stuff. So that's what we have over here. Over in the pink room, we have this area. So back here is going to be a fish tank with a bunch of coral in it and some tropical fish, but I don't have those in yet. This area here is just a general spot for placing miscellaneous shulker boxes. So if I'm preparing for a project, rather than doing what I am now, where I'm just placing shulker boxes all over the floor where I'm walking and stuff, I like to include this in every base. I just put a big shulker box floor here, and I can place them all here, and they're not in the way, and I can organize them, and then when I'm done with them, I clean them up. So just having a general drop-off for shulker boxes in your base is really nice, because if you don't have somewhere to put them, you'll put them all over the floor. It's going to happen. So this is very important to include in any base, I think. And in the ceiling, I kind of gave like a sparkle pattern out of snow, kind of like a whiter block than the bone behind it. I thought that was kind of cute. I'm not sure what we'll be putting over here yet. I had an idea, but I forgot it. But over here is going to be our shulker box dispenser, our shulker box like storage here. And before the crafter was put in the game, so in every base I've ever had before this one, the shulker box storage system was basically just a hopper in front and then a dispenser, and you'd reach in the dispenser and grab your shulker boxes. And behind it are like 80 double chests full of shulker boxes all pointing into each other with hoppers. And you would never be able to store very many shulker boxes in there because you can't put down that many double chests and hoppers. It gets too bulky and expensive. But now that we have the crafter, we can just store the raw materials of the shulker boxes behind here and then put them in the crafter and craft shulker boxes on demand. So that's what I've built back here. I wish I had a few more chests to show you how it all works, but I only have 16 to work with, so that's what we'll be using. You can see I put this in the crafter and then shulker box appears over here. And the reason I only have 1 chest feeding into this is because as long as you fill the hopper with like 3 stacks of shulker shells and then 2 stacks of chests over here, it will pull both chests and shulker shells from this large chest. So you can fill it up with a bunch of shulker shells here and then chests up this top row, and you can place both in the same chest. So that's what I'm going to end up doing. We have 16 chests in there, so I will show you what it's like to craft them on demand. It'll look like this. And then whenever I need a shulker box, I just go up here, I just click it, and there's a sound, and boom, a shulker box just pops through the wall. And I can double click it for 2 shulker boxes. It's pretty cool. I like it a lot. You can just go up here, click, 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 and then you get a bunch of shulker boxes. Back here, it's just like the observer is observing the changes in the note block, activating this note block and the crafter. And this light up here, you can see, will tell us whenever we run out of stuff in the chest. So if I put stuff in the chest, you can see it turns on. So what our designated storage here is going to look like is something like this, except this is only 4 slices, and we're going to have 23 slices of it spanning all across this whole thing. I'll go into a creative world to show you more about what that's going to be like. So the multi-item sorting system that we're going to be building today is my design that's heavily based on Nembon's multi-item sorter from I think something like 8 years ago now. I have it placed in the world here, and then this is a version that I edited to be only 5 blocks tall because I don't like having to reach up for the 6th block. But here's what it looks like as a side view. My version is, I believe, 1 block longer, but it's a lot cleaner to build, it's a lot easier to look at, and I believe mine reduces some amount of lag. Also, my version is 1 wide tileable, 1 wide AB tileable for as long as you'd like it to be, whereas Nembon's design can only be 9 blocks long. So I think mine's a definite improvement just by being able to make it as long as you'd like. A link to that Nembon video is in the description below. I have been using this storage system for years, and I'm very excited to use my own little flavor of it. Here is my own version of Nembon's design, which as you can see makes heavy use of the new copper bulbs. I love these things. This down here is the core clock that runs it, and these observers and these bulbs are the central sorting mechanism. So whenever this clock pulses, you can see that each of these bulbs changes from on to off or off to on. So that's how it functions, like at its core, this is what's sorting the items. And as you can see, when we turn this clock on, that's what's actually happening to sort the items. So that's what we'll be seeing. The way this works is by slowing down this chain of hoppers by alternating them being locked and unlocked. By slowing the items down, it gives them time to attempt to sort the items into these already sorted shulker boxes. Any items that aren't sorted into the shulker boxes simply flow down the chain. This stuff all back here, this stuff down here, this big mess, and all these hoppers up here is simply the mechanism by which the items flow from one line into another line, and then so on and so forth down the chain. That happens down here at this mess of hoppers, chests, and barrels, where each of the hopper lines flows into the next hopper line over. Then the items flow into this dropper elevator, which pushes the items back up and into the next line. This dropper and hopper is the input for the entire sorting system. So you'll see when items get put in here, it starts the entire system's clock, because this dropper gets filled with items, which causes this pulse extender to turn on, which causes this clock, which is Nembon's design by the way, to start running. And then all of these, the sorting actually begins whenever any of these droppers have items in them. And it automatically turns off when all the items have been sorted. As you can see, this also features pots up on the top row here, which is why in my world I have glass panes in front of where these pots will be. And we'll probably decorate these pots with sherds on the front to describe what items are being placed in front of them, maybe? I'm not really sure. So let's get into building this in my survival world. I'm going to be using this schematic that I'm rendering onto the world with the mod Lightmatica. Oh my god. What? Why was he on fire? Okay. I'm going to be using this schematic to, render this as I build it, just to make it easier for me. The process for building it is probably going to be pretty easy. I'm just going to be placing blocks, in order, and you'll see how that works. If you want to build this yourself, I heavily recommend using Lightmatica and downloading the schematic, which can be found in the description below, and building it like that. But I am going to show you how I'm going to build it here, so let's go. So what I have done so far is this big long thing here. This is the trigger for these droppers to know when there's items in them to start the rest of the clocks. Alright, now I think the next thing we're gonna do is build this array of hoppers and chests and stuff down here to move the items onto the next line. So I'll see you after that. So down here we have the array of hoppers leading into chests to help them move over into the next slice over. There's also some barrels here because we're going to be placing composters on top of them. And anywhere you see composters in this line is just a way to prevent hoppers from lagging by preventing them from searching for item entities on top of them. You can see that there's actually even composters in the ceiling for the hoppers that we're going to be putting up there to do a little lag reduction up there as well. I just stopped recording and started building the next part, but I forgot to mention one thing. I want you all to know where the items are entering and leaving this system. So I said before that the entry point for the system is this dropper. We're probably going to put a hopper next to it, and then, you know, some water stream that feeds in items. I haven't really thought about it. It's actually probably just going to come through this wall here. And as you can see in the entry point, because the items don't have to go from there to another thing, there isn't any of those chests, like infrastructure, to move the items. Similarly over here, so the items run through the entire thing, and then this is the hopper that they leave from. Probably it's gonna feed into a dropper, which drops them into some water stream that puts them into an identical contraption to this over here. So that's the exit point. The items start down there, they go through the whole spiral motion, and then they leave right here. Okay, well, it's all done down there, which is pretty cool, but we are going to take a small detour because I mentioned that the entire top row of the thing is like made out of pots, and I want to decorate those pots with sherds, my only feather. I have not killed a single chicken this game. We got some sherds at the trial chamber, but I would like to go out and try to find a few more. I should actually consult the wiki on where to find sherds, but I know we can get a bunch from archaeology. So my plan is to go archaeology. I've never done it before in Minecraft. I'm just gonna go do it and see what happens. On the way to the end portal, I have always seen some an archaeology ruins thing. Why is it lagging so much? But I've always passed by this ruins. I think this is a ruins on the way to the end portal. So here is probably where I want to go first. Let's check around and see if there's... I actually have vanilla tweaks ore borders on. I didn't realize that. So it's going to be pretty obvious when there's actually suspicious sand or suspicious gravel. Let's just try to take some of it out. I just consulted the wiki, and it looks like to get every kind of sherd, we have to visit every kind of ruin. But let's just try it out. Awesome. Coal. What else? Oh, that's one of them. Oh, look at that. Okay, cool. The sherd. Oh, and a sniffer egg. That is good. I don't know how rare sniffer eggs are, but I definitely need one of those at least for like one of those fancy flower farms. Farms for the fancy flowers that sniffers do. There's another sherd. Oh, the snort sherd. Okay, for the sniffer. This is kind of exciting. It's kind of like opening an Overwatch loot box, but I mean, that's exciting too. Gold nugget, awesome. Got the common Overwatch skin. Well, I got a few shards there. That area was like... I mean, it had the sniffer egg, but other than that, not a lot. Oh, this buried treasure is really close to the end portal. It's kind of cool. No. Oh! Yes, the heart of the sea. Okay, so I went out and did some archaeology. Here's what I have. I have 1 suspicious gravel and 1 suspicious sand. You have to float them in water for like 15 seconds to obtain it, so I only got 1 of each. The reason is I'm going to make a gravity block duplication factory later in my world, like as a big major project. So I only really need 1 of each to get a ton of them. I also managed to get presumably the archaeology music disc, which is pretty cool, and 6 sniffer eggs, which seems like a lot. I also got only this amount of pottery shards. It's not actually that much, just these 5 kinds. And then these 3 kinds are the ones that I got from the trial chamber. I'm just putting them in here to show you that I have 8 kinds of shards. So it's a while later in real life, and as you can see, I've gotten it all done in the center here. As you can see, I've been putting a bunch of stuff onto the wall. Actually, this is how we'll store our items, is just in a shulker box, color coordinated what the item is, and then I name the shulker box, and then I fill it all up with the item that we're sorting. And what will happen is the item comes down, and it attempts to be put into this box, and like if sugarcane's there, then it will get put in the box. So that's pretty cool. I have a bunch of stuff like sand, regular deep slate, not cobbled deep slate, tough bricks and stuff. And then the filter item, the item that's never going to be put through this machine or else it would break the machine. I took a bunch of watermelon that we got from the melon farm and I called it Yoshi fruit, which I think is pretty cute. So yeah, there's some Yoshi fruit in places where I, for instance, don't have enough copper ingots along this bottom, so I just put some Yoshi fruit in as filler. But yeah, this entire wall is definitely going to get filled up with shulkers. I kind of expect to need 3 of these total. This is what it looks like over here. I put up the glass to separate myself from the redstone. I love looking in on the glass here. It feels very much like tempered glass on the side of a computer where you can look in and see all the components. And I think it's really cool, and it's gonna look especially crazy when we start up the sorting and stuff and we get to see it all moving around and sorting the items. The other thing I did is I finished the bulk storage. Remember at the start of the episode? I just had this part done. Well, I went through and I finished all the rest of it. So this stuff is where we're gonna bulk store our items. So whenever we need stone, diorite, dirt, cobbled deep slate, stuff like that, we'll come back here and this chest will be full of stone. And then down here, this chest will be full of like shulker boxes full of stone, right? The reason I'm not bulk storing wool over here or moss or something is because eventually out in the world, I will have a big wool farm and a big moss farm. And I prefer to store my items at the place where they're collected, if that makes sense. So I haven't properly explained this system yet. Let's do that. This is 3 units of my bulk storage system tiled together. I think they look pretty good. The top chest is what's known as an item display, and it holds a double chest worth of items that we can freely remove at any time. The 4 chests below it are for filled shulker boxes of that item. Some other features are the 2 blocks in the front that you can use to show what item is being stored, and the glass window that looks into the shulker box that's being filled. Here's what they look like when they're linked together around the back. I'm proud of how dense I was able to get the redstone for them. You may also notice that they're 2-wide tileable, although each unit does require that a comparator takes signal from the slice next to it, which means that this side of the machine does require 1 extra barrel sticking out. Here is a single slice at its most bare bones. As you can see, it's 5 blocks long, 7 blocks tall, because we're disregarding these extra storage chests placed beneath it because they could be either extended or removed. And it's 2-ish blocks wide, as it is 2-wide tileable, but requires that extra barrel to be placed on the side of the first slice in the sequence. When items flow into this system, they do so at this item filter, then down into the item display. When the item display is full, however, you can see that it turns off this comparator, which unlocks this hopper, allowing the items to freely go down. To show you the 3 pieces of the system individually, I pulled them out here of the system while maintaining the relative heights. Here is the item filter the system uses, which is a 2-wide tileable item filter design that I created. I was going to use the traditional 1-wide tileable design, but it was 1 block too long for the system to maintain its 5-block length. So I made my own. This one uses comparator subtraction to filter the items, where the traditional item filter uses signal strength. That item filter feeds directly into this 2-wide tileable double chest item display, which I also made. This is the section where it's technically 3 blocks wide, but still 2-wide tileable. One thing that I'm really proud of is interlocking all of these pieces together really well. So even though this item display is 3 blocks tall, you can see that it really only takes up a single layer all on its own in the final product, with the rest of the components kind of squished in alongside it. Now, before designing the bulk storage, I made this 2-wide tileable Shulker Box Loader, which I've been very happy with using. It was inspired by a similar 1-wide tileable Shulker Box Loader, which was created by Borgon in this YouTube video, which I've linked in the description. My Shulker Loader is only 4 blocks long, and it comes with an additional plus where it'll never cause the Shulker Box to land in an adjacent slice. However, due to the placement of this hopper on the item display, I had to modify it slightly to be 5 blocks long, and to use this glass block and lever rather than this redstone torch to power the redstone dust. The way the Shulker Box Loader works is that you place a shulker in it that begins being filled with items, and when it's all full, the shulker box is broken and a new one is placed. So now you know how my bulk storage works. A download link for the Lightmatica schematic file is in the description if you'd like to build it yourself. We have a couple walls of chests in front of the bulk storages here. This wall of chests is where the overflow from this system is going to end up. So the way our stuff is going to work is we throw it all in this pit. It goes through and it goes to the bulk storages first. Then it's going to go to this wall, and then this wall, that wall, that wall, and then come back, and anything that doesn't get sorted after all that ends up in these 10 overflow chests. And when these get filled up, I have a really simple system back there that tells us when it happens. So when items enter this chest, this bulb turns on. It's very simple. It's just like an observer detecting changes from a comparator back there. So when items are put into these chests, we will know, and if this bulb ever turns on, it's really time to clear these out. And then on the other side here, this makes sense to be put next to overflow because this is going to be my storage for unstackables. These don't have hoppers attached to them. This is all manual by me. This is where the lava buckets are getting stored. Or like tools and armor, elytra, water buckets, buckets of like fish. Like if I need a ton of buckets of fish, that's where these are getting put. So yeah, that's what this entire room is. Eventually we'll have a sorting system on either wall, and it's gonna look really cool. Right now I'm just aging lamps over there. But eventually it's all gonna look like this over here, which is really cool, I think. I'd like to show you back here. This is like the wiring for all of this. Back here are all the chests that we're gonna fill with the shulker boxes that need to be stored in the system, right? I've been doing a little theme recently. This episode at least. I've decided every time I build out redstone, I build a little room behind it to be able to showcase it off and access it really easily, right? Normally I don't really do this, but I just figured for the series specifically, it's nice to be able to come back here and show this off, I think. So we have built out a huge amount of storage tech today. All of these bulk storages back here, this huge multi-item sorter here, this like central processing unit for items basically. But we have not connected any of it together yet. I'm going to build the device that separates the items one by one so they can be put through this thing and put through those things. And then I'm going to build out the huge network of water streams that has to connect all of these things together. And the place that we will be putting the main system to enable this is down in this hole right here. A couple episodes ago now, we built this giant fountain in the center of our poker chip storage room here, and our goal is to be able to just throw any item into this fountain that we want and have it get sorted. So random items like this, just toss them in, and they'll all go to the center of the fountain and into the item sorter. You know, random carrots, unstackable items, ender chests, everything in my inventory, stuff like that. Even shulker boxes. If I were to take this shulker box full of just the most random stuff you've ever seen, I could just take this shulker box and throw it in here. That shulker box would get unloaded and all of its items would be sent to storage. It's a little bit difficult to have a device that actually makes all of that happen. Luckily, I've put one together and I'll be building it right now and showing you how it all works. I'm gonna get my items first though. Well, instead of that, let's just flash forward 5 months in the future. Okay, like I said, this video took a long time to put out, and I have gotten things done in the meantime. Like, for instance, this wall is now completely filled with stuff, and I've been using this storage room for a while now, actually. I'm very happy with it, although one wall has clearly been filled up. I need more space. So it would have taken a very keen-eyed viewer to notice this, but when I was montaging the build of this one here, what you actually saw was a future montage that I did recently where I completed the second one. The reason for that is that my old replay mod footage actually got deleted somehow, so I had to just make another one to montage it, so that's what I did. This one is completely identical, and I haven't moved my stuff over yet because another thing you might have noticed is that in the last 5 months, I have started putting my crap everywhere, all along the floor. Look at all of this stuff along the wall, and this place is just a mess. And the reason I haven't been sorting it through is because I actually haven't shown off how the sorting system works in a video yet. So let's take all of these items and put them through my sorting system. And I'll show you how it works. Now, before we sort anything through, we have to determine which of these two things we want the items to get sorted into. That's pretty easy. This one currently has no boxes on it, and this one currently has every box on it, so we're gonna turn this one on. The way we do that is with this button right here. When both lights are on, it is now officially on. And what that actually does is it just allows items from the water streams that I've built below here to flow into the thing. We're not actually modifying the thing at all with the buttons. We're just modifying the path of the water streams. So I'm in free cam right now, and you can see that my character, when I click, pushes the button. So the items come down here and they land in this water stream. They either continue going forward, which takes them into this machine, or I can redirect them and they'll go down this line, which bypasses the machine. And when I press that button that turns the machine on, in quotes, what is actually happening is it's just shifting the path of these two to either include or bypass the machine. And here I'm looking at the other machine and pressing the button. You can see down here, it's actually working for this one too. It's either including or bypassing the machine in the waterway. And I personally think that's a really nice feature. It allows me a lot of control over which ones I want the items to be sorted into, because it takes a long time for the items to flow through this, so I don't want to have to use it if not necessary. So you can see here, I have 3 shulker boxes that I've just filled up of whatever my inventory was at the time, a bunch of junk. I am going to throw all the items in. So normally I would just toss the shulker boxes in, but I want to show you what happens with both shulker boxes and items when we throw them in. So I'll just do this. And then this. You can see them flow down here and get caught by these hoppers. So let's go down into that room and I'll show you how it works. The way down is with that button, a little hidden right there, kind of. I made a little waterway down to this thing. So this is our shulker box separator and unloader. The way it works is that items come down and are collected by these hoppers, which then feeds them into this. They go into this dropper and then they're sent through. And if the items go into this shulker box filter, then these items are not shulker boxes and we can feed them directly into this dropper where they're just sent down the line. And you can see at the end here, this is a block of powdered snow, and you can see that it's clumping the items together. Like several torches get put into a stack, and then it goes down the line. If the items aren't shulker boxes, then this dropper fails to put the item into the shulker box, right? Because shulker boxes can't go in shulker boxes. So if an item is a shulker box, then it gets put down into this dispenser, Whoops, I grabbed an item. The shulker box is... Yeah, I caught it! Awesome! It's put into this Shulker Box Unloader, which is a design by RafQ that I found through the Storage Tech Discord. It suits my needs pretty well. And then it starts grabbing items from the Shulker Box Loader and putting them into the dropper as well, so we're kind of overfilling it a little bit, but that's okay. One thing to note is that I'm using hopper speed timers, these things right here, to make sure items get thrown out at exactly the rate of hopper speed. And the way that works is just by passing an item back and forth in a hopper, and then detecting when it gets put through the hopper with a comparator, right? Hopper speed timers are really useful. Hopper speed is just a great speed to send items at to make sure your system doesn't get clogged, so I'm going to be using hopper speed timers a lot more. You can see even under here there's another one. Anyway, the items are sent up here where they're clumped together, and then they're sent through a water stream where they get aligned on this honey block and sent along each of the hoppers for the bulk storage. So you can see right there, stone got picked up by the bulk storage, and when stone enters, the item hopper gets unlocked and the item filter allows it to go down into the bulk storage. The items are sent back up here and aligned on another honey block. I realized after I built this really janky item alignment here with the honey block that I can actually use a pickle to do the inside alignment, like a sea pickle, but that's okay, I'll just keep using honey blocks, I guess. So they get sent down the second line of bulk storage hoppers, and then they drop down here and are put into the big item sorter. Wow, this thing is blinky when it's in action. You can even see it down here, and it really does blink. It's really cool. So this thing is sorting all of the items. Many of the items are not going to make it to the end because they're getting put into these shulker boxes. So I'm sure there's going to be some items getting sent through the whole thing and ending up at the end, maybe? I guess all the items are getting sorted through. So let's come down here and pretend that there aren't some items getting sorted properly. The way that would work is they get put in that dropper and then sent out of the dropper and go along this big long water stream. You can see that it links up with the other storage thing there, but the items continue to come along here, and they eventually make their way over here where they are put into the overflow chests right here. So that's the journey items in my storage system take. They're unloaded down here, they go along these bulk storages, and then put into one of many of these big item sorters, before eventually landing in this overflow chest. So, it's been just a little while longer, and I now have everything cleaned up in here again. You can see out here I've expanded our storage to use both walls very effectively, and I'm now sorting everything that was on the ground into these two walls full of shulkers right here. I've also taken the liberty of boxing up some full shulkers of different kinds of materials in this little corner over here. In the near future, I'll do an episode of this series where I create an additional piece of our storage puzzle in our nether hub, where these boxes will all have a home. But for now, they'll be safe in this unfinished back room. Speaking of finishing the base, I'll probably dedicate a future episode to polishing up the bottom floor of our storage room here. I have a really big area carved out for an important future project here I'd like to get finished soon. It'll add a really vibrant, silly, squeaky atmosphere to the place, I think. In the last 5 months, I've actually streamed a couple of times in this world. Those streams are on my girlfriend's VOD's channel, which I've linked in the description below. Unfortunately, here's how one of those streams ended up starting, when the goal for the stream was just to kill the Ender Dragon a few times.
Are you a bow believer in single player?
In single player?
Yeah.
No.
No, you just have it on you.
I'm using it to kill the Ender Dragon.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, it didn't feel like that was a new addition to your hotbar.
Yeah, I don't like having my bow on me. I need inventory spots. I've mined out a bunch of this since anyone's last seen the end. It's like a flat space now.
I've not seen that, actually. That's
yeah.
funny.
I brought a beacon in here and I just started mining this out.
You did that while I wasn't paying attention. Cat contained.
She is contained, chat. She is contained.
We contained her. Oh my gosh. I will break out of here. I just want you to know that.
Yeah, with your demon powers, I'm sure.
Yeah, with my demon powers,
look,
silly.
Look, there's no way out. There's no way out.
You're funny. Oh my god. Whoa. Whoa.
Why do I have shears on my person?
I don't know. I mean, get scared. Whoa, is it like summoning it?
Yeah.
So cool! Oh my god! You gotta re-blow those up? That's so annoying.
Yeah, I know. That's why I have the bow.
Oh my god, that's annoying. This is cool though. I like this cutscene.
What?
Oh my god.
I didn't know that happened.
Girl, what just happened
What
to you?
just happened to me?
Ender Dragon, what the hell?
What happened to me?
She blew you up.
I...
Someone clip that.
What happened to me? What?
I don't know what happened there. That was stupid.
I'm so glad this is no longer a hardcore world.
I'm so glad. That would have been an
That would have
insane way
been
to die.
so horse.
That would have been the funniest way to die in a hardcore world.
That was
of all time.
crazy. So that took a couple hours to get all my gear back in order. And then just a couple weeks ago, I was using this Cobblestone Generator, which is a design by Big Booty 17. I'll link that in the description below as well. It's a great way to get cobblestone, especially early game, but unfortunately I was the victim of some misuse of it recently, and that's why there's now a staircase leading up to it. So it took a few hours to get my gear back after that as well. The other project I've been chipping away at in the meantime is over this way. Actually I should show you this first. This over here is a moss farm that I've been putting together. I was really satisfied with this, but there's a way that I could speed it up, like make it more efficient. So I might end up tearing out some of this, or it might just be efficient enough as is, I'm not really sure. But this is a moss farm I designed, and I'll probably go into more detail about it later. Right now I just want to show you the overview of it, because this is going to be the main street of Greengrass City, which is going to be the giant city in the jungle here that I'm going to make. That's going to house things like my iron farm and several like plant-based farms and stuff like that. So this is kind of the first foray into that. Where this glass is here is going to be like the main street. And as you can see, there's going to be a big moss farm under it that I'm just going to walk over. Anyway, this moss farm is really cool, but this is going to be the subject of a later video. I'm not finished with it. I'm not sure I'm happy with it. We'll have to touch it up. We'll see. That's not even what I was going to show you, actually. What I am going to show you is at the end of this big soul soil bridge that we constructed in episode 1, I think. It's over here. Now, just a little bit ago, I showed you a clip that was a stream of us going to the end portal, and it was covered in trees, and this area I've completely deforested all of the trees here, and it's kind of just a nice peninsula now sticking out into the ocean. So this is the area above our end portal, which I've also been working on. You can see I've carved out a huge amount of deep slate down here. I used moss to do this, actually. I basically just spread moss downwards in a big layer and then swept away the layer. And I did that down here layer after layer of this deep slate to get it away. So I have a bunch of moss, but not as much deep slate as I'd like. Anyway, you can see that I've already kind of modified the end portal and built a machine down here. I think this end portal and the machine accompanying it are going to be the focus of the next video I make, so we'll have lots of time to talk about this later, but for right now, all you have to know is that above this end portal is this area. So this was a forest. In fact, you can see up in the top left that it's a flower forest, which is so awesome. When I started on the seed, I had no idea that above my end portal was a flower forest biome, but that is such amazing coincidence that I just love it. Here I'm going to be able to make the flower farms for all of the dye I need in the game, with just a couple exceptions. In fact, up here you can see that it switches to plain, so I can even farm for blue dye, which I think is so awesome. My ultimate plan for this area, though, is to make it one giant beach party. I want to cover it in sand, make a bunch of, like, I don't know, pool toys in the water, and hangout areas on the beach, a volleyball court, maybe like a beachfront bar to get nice drinks, and I'm so excited for that. I think it's going to be a really cool area. I'm definitely gonna less plan it out and more just place things around based on vibes. I don't really normally do that with like builds, but I don't know, I think a big beach party is like the place to do that, you know? And also what I've started putting here is villagers. So I designed this cute little villager area. I've been spreading these just around the area. There's another one down there. I really dislike villagers, so the best thing for me to do is to make the simplest little villager area possible. So this is my attempt at doing just that. You can see I have room for 8 villagers in here. The design, I guess, while I was building this, my girlfriend and I were watching Markiplier play Silent Hill F, so that game probably inspired this build a little bit. This build has a lot of good features I like. For instance, each villager is separated by these trapdoors. They're a little bit taller than the trapdoors allow because they're standing on carpet, so they can't go over into the other villagers' area. The villagers here also can't get out because these trapdoors are making it so that this space is a little less than 2 blocks high, which I think is pretty cool. And this feature isn't hooked up yet, but I think it's going to be really great when it is because I've already kind of started putting each villager's stuff in random chests. But in front of them is a water stream, and when I'm trading with them, I should be able to just take the items and throw them into the water stream, and my plan is to have a central storage system that each item gets routed to, probably under the beach here, which that'll be really fun to make, I think. I also have a melon and pumpkin farm here on this wall. Most melon and pumpkin farms have the pistons pushing the melons like downward, but I find it's really hard to see the process happening if I build it like that. So here's my attempt at making a melon and pumpkin farm that's just like vertical on the wall here. Also, that one's being a little weird, that's kind of odd. Over here's my villager breeder. It's pretty simple, but since I already have the materials, let's do a full villager conversion, right? So the villagers are in here, and then when I want, I feed them bread and they create new villagers, which are put into this water stream. I can grab those villagers using a dispenser in minecarts, and I can turn the villagers into zombies by using pool toy here, ouch, to convert them into zombies, like this. And then when I want to cure him, I just drop him down, and then I grab my items and cure him up. And he'll turn into a regular villager, and of course, his trades will be a lot better. This one over here is full of masons rather than farmers. These guys trade you quartz, which is very important. The reason that I did these villagers at all right now is because all 3 of the builds that I'm going to be doing over the next few episodes, which are my poker chip storage room, finishing that up, as well as the end portal down there, and my nether hub / my nether base. All 3 of those builds use a ton of quartz. I use so much quartz as a builder, it's just like the best block in the game. So I needed a good way to get quartz, and these villagers are it. In fact, I've already gotten a pretty good stockpile so far right here. So yeah, that's my plan on this area. I'll probably just work on it, add stuff to it like flower farms and these villager places every once in a while. And hopefully we can have a really cool beach party atmosphere out here. Hi! Thank you for your generous patience as I've worked to complete this video over the last 5 months, and I sincerely thank everyone who supported me in that time as well. If you'd like to see another video from me, the kindest thing you can do is subscribe to this YouTube channel below. I have a full-time job outside of this, so I'm very much relying on your support to create more of these Minecraft videos. Other things you could do include liking this video, commenting on it, or following me on other social media sites linked in the description. I'll also likely be streaming in this world before the next video releases on my girlfriend's Twitch channel, DevilCat3D. Thanks so much for watching!